Well, at least it got an even coat. Let it harden overnight. It's still, you can leave a fingerprint in it. That stuff's on so thick it's going to take a couple of days for that to harden.
Got a little box sitting on my table, pieces everywhere, but I'm feeling able. Glue on my fingers, paint on my hands, turning tiny parts into something grand. One piece at a time, I make it come alive with a little imagination. I can make it fly. I'm building my life away, one model at a time each day. Wings and wheels, engines and play. I'm building my life away. It might take hours, it might take days, but I wouldn't have it any other way. With every little piece I lay, I'm building my life away. Cut the plastic, sand it down, paint that cockpit, make it sound. Decals straighten, landing gear tight. Step back and see it looking just right. Sometimes things break, sometimes things go wrong, but I'll fix them up and keep moving along. I'm building my life away, one model at a time each day. Planes on the shelf and dreams on display. I'm building my life away. It might take hours, it might take days, but I wouldn't have it any other way. With every little piece I lay, I'm building my life away. From a box of parts to a work of art, every little model has a piece of my heart. When the world gets loud, I know where to stay. At my workbench, building my life away. I'm building my life away, watching little dreams take shape, from tiny wings to skies of gray. I'm building my life away. Glue, paper, plastic, come what may. There's always something new to make today. So let the engines roar and play. I'm building my life away. One more kit, one more day. At my workbench, I'll build away.
Well, at least it got an even coat. Let it harden overnight. It's still, you can leave a fingerprint in it. That stuff's on so thick it's going to take a couple of days for that to harden.
Got a little box sitting on my table, pieces everywhere, but I'm feeling able. Glue on my fingers, paint on my hands, turning tiny parts into something grand. One piece at a time, I make it come alive with a little imagination. I
It's
can
hot
make it fly.
and
I forgot to.
okay. What did I forget to do here? Oh, that. Yeah, I got to take that off too. There we go. Actually, I need to turn that on and just put it down one.
Ta-da.
Okay, hold on. We're almost. All right, there we are. I'm running about 11 to 14 second lag here, so everybody. Ricky, one of the things about this live stream is everybody gets the feed at a different time, but on the Zoom, we're seeing each other in real time. But sometimes people have to wait 20, 30 seconds before it gets to them, so the questions and stuff, sometimes it can all be a little
This is what's showing
disjointed.
up on YouTube, what everybody else sees.
Yeah. Okay, well, okay, first off, voice check. Can everybody hear us okay? Steve?
Hi, guys. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ken?
Hello, everybody.
And this ghostly apparition behind Ken is Ricky.
It's that vague. Ricky's an old friend of mine from junior high school and high school, and we've stayed in touch all these years.
50 years. It's actually 53, 57.
Kind of hurts to count them up after a while.
I've lost track.
Okay, so let's see, everybody, welcome aboard. And okay, it looks like they're hearing us. All righty. So I got the volumator all turned up. I got the cogitator cogitating. Okay, so we're going to be talking about things like resources for doing research for your models. But just before we got on air, I stumbled across that little thumbnail of Robert Conrad. Oh, you know what? Let me put that image up here real quick. Robert Conrad and that young actor from the second season of Baba Black Sheep with him, whose name I did not have time to look up. But it was a 1977 Revell catalog, and of course he's holding the 1/32 scale Revell Corsair that I happen to have right here over my shoulder, which what I believe is an inaccurately painted propeller, but I don't know, maybe they did paint their props that way. You only got to have one enlisted man walk into a spinning propeller before the base commander says, okay, make the big white tips bigger and wider. But it got me thinking about it. 1977. It's a year before I enlisted, 2 years before I went active duty. I was 16 years old, and I was still building models. But even I had noticed that a lot of the places that carried kit models were having a diminishing stock. And I believe this is after Aurora had already sold out to Monogram. And I remember going to one, I can't remember what store it was. It's like in my mind, I can remember where it was, but I don't remember what it was. It was a drugstore or just sort of a sundry store. But I went in there and they were selling models, and not a lot of them, but I noticed they only had like 2 little shelves. And that's the last place I saw the Aurora. Was it the Learjet or the Aurora Jet Commander? It was a corporate jet. Anyway, and an X-15, and I remember looking at it, and they were like $2. Like, my God, these things have gotten expensive. $2 for this kit? And, but it made me, and of course, the show Baba Black Sheep was coming on, so, but it made me think, what's happening to model. Even back then, I sort of in the back of my head, I think I was conscious of the fact that model building was kind of starting to drift away. And of course, pinballs have been around forever, but now actual video games are starting to show up. I know my friends wanted to all let's go down to the arcade, man, and for those of God, now even think of an arcade makes me feel old, but
They're still around.
I know.
Yeah, went one a few months ago.
Yeah, but Ken, we went to one of those places like Silver Balls where you pay the money to get in and just play all you want. I'm talking about when kids are actually just dumping quarters in there, by the truckload. And but it made me realize, we already knew and I learned this from doing the histories, that the late 70s was not a good time for the kit model business. 79, they got clobbered by the oil crisis again. But what I was wondering was, I imagine most of the people who are here now, with the exception of our younger viewers, are, remember this period. And I was like, I'm kind of the question to everybody's, were you noticing a trend towards getting harder, hobby shops starting to close up, getting harder to find good selections, not a whole lot of new stuff coming out, and like this Baba Black Sheep kit was just a rehash of their 1/32 scale Corsair, which they had going, I think, since 65 or 68. Of course, the mold wouldn't have been that old back then. It would have been 8, 9 years old. But, I mean, I watched every episode of Baba Black Sheep when it came on because Corsairs. Even though you could see them chasing AT6s around with their flaps down. But at least they were trying. And, of course, the same stock footage over and over again. But still, it was what we had. And first season was okay. Second season, well, let's just not talk about that. It's like the third season of Star Trek. But I'm just wondering, was it just me, or are we all starting to realize that, this industry is not in a healthiest state? And but as I was
77 was an interesting year.
Okay.
I mean, that was when Revell decided that they needed to make the kits do something. And they went off on that electronic sort of pathway where the kits lit up and made noise, and they had an ambulance and a race car and stuff like that, which didn't do well at all. They were all trying to look for that next gimmick to be able to stay at the forefront. And, Revell came out with, Aurora came out with, what was that? Something scope where you looked in the
Photoscope.
Yeah. I mean,
This was was it 77, or was it earlier than that when Aurora sold its stuff to Monogram? Diker took over.
it was earlier than that. It was about 75,
Yeah.
76 when they did that.
I know the transition didn't happen overnight, but
Because in 77, when I was at Lesney, we bought AMT.
mhm.
Then they started bringing their own kits in because they were making their own kits. And actually, we did pretty well. But we were, AMT was cars
And cars have always been strong.
and the Matchbox stuff was mostly military.
Mm-hmm.
And it went after a younger group because they were molded in color, and a lot of them came with their own diorama. So they did pretty well. But,
See, Robert Austin just made a great point. 77 to 79 was when, girls and cars, we all started turning into 18, 19-year-olds, started chasing girls and playing with cars instead of, working on models. I think it was because the 80s were a bad time for kit model companies. And didn't, you were talking about something else in the late 70s where kit models were concerned. I'm trying to remember what it was, but it didn't help that like Lou Glazer had passed away in 72, so Revell was under swapping hands by this point. And
yeah, Revell had already been sold like twice by 77.
yeah,
And
Monogram was nearing the same fate. That's ironic. Monogram, after they merged with Revell, actually swapped hands, I think 7 or 9 more times inside of 15 years. I mean, that's just inherently not good.
No, and every time it changed hands, it went to somebody who wasn't necessarily, not every time, but a lot of times it went to another company that necessarily wasn't in the hobby business.
Brian just made a good. Yeah, go ahead.
So they didn't understand it.
Okay, I think Brian.
Tom Fox.
What?
It's Tom Fox says, in 77, I discovered girls and also discovered the interest was not mutual.
Oh man, don't get me started. Well, you guys saw the intro. That's what that little homage to the guy holding the model airplane in front of the lady is. Yeah, it's right. I couldn't believe how can girls not be impressed by my kit model airplane collection? if you guys remember Keeping Up Appearances, the British sitcom, have you guys ever watched that? I know our UK and probably Canadian viewers are familiar with it. Have you ever seen Keeping Up Appearances with Hyacinth
Yes.
Bouquet? Ken, I'm looking at you. No,
What?
I realize you can't tell that from me looking at the camera. I'm saying, Ken, aren't you? I'm making eye contact with you, dude. And I was like, did you ever see Keeping Up Appearances?
I might have once.
Okay. Anyway, it's about this
Actually,
very pretentious working class British lady named Hyacinth Bucket who calls herself Hyacinth Bouquet. Anyway, her, I guess it's her sister Rose, always out picking up men going to bars. And they had one, I think I found it at one point and used it in a clip, but she talks about, so this man tells me he wants me to take me up to his flat and show me his collection of model aeroplanes. So I'm like, but of course. And we go up. And all he wanted to do was show me his collection of model aeroplanes. Ask me anything you want to know about model aeroplanes. And I was like, oh dear God, that's hitting too close to home. Make it stop. And Vino Veritas, baby. So for those of you,
A perfect example of what you're talking about is the other day, my wife and I took a ride over to the Eastern Shore of Maryland. We
Mhm.
went to this little town called Cambridge.
I know Cambridge, yeah.
And they have a really nice downtown area that they're revitalizing.
Mhm.
And we're walking through this really nice downtown street. And
Hey, Dan's on. Dan's with us.
hi, Dan.
Hey, Dan.
How are you, Dan?
Thank you very much.
And
Wow,
you want to up the ante, Dan?
$10. I don't even know. I don't even. How does that even work?
I don't know. Yeah. But anyway, so
We're gonna see you in Philly, Dan. We already
Hey,
got our
you
plane
warned
tickets.
him.
you warned him.
him.
We were going to surprise him.
What are you talking about? We already told him like 3 times.
We did. Oh yeah, that's right. We did.
Well, look at the bright side. Angela Cartwright and Billy Mummy will be surprised. They won't know who we are, but
Wonder if Billy will send anybody into the cornfield.
oh God. Thanks. That's all that's gonna be. Be nice. Be nice. Be nice. Happy thoughts. Happy thoughts. I dare you to shake his hand and just go, happy thoughts, happy thoughts.
Oh, you know I will.
Oh, Steve
You
will
know
do
I
that.
will.
Absolutely.
I want to be there when
Anthony,
you do that.
it's a wonderful thing, Anthony. It's a, great
It's a
thing you
wonderful
did.
thing. Yeah. Snow in the cornfield? Sure. We'll starve the summer. What the heck? By the way, guys, if you're not familiar, Dan runs Movies, Music, and Monsters, and it is the best thing on YouTube.
Next to you.
So back to the story. So I'm walking down the main street with my wife, and I'm looking at these buildings, very nice. And I'm looking at this one, and I said to myself, this must have been a Woolworths. And I walk across the street, and I see this other building, and I go, this was some kind of a department store. And we go in and we walk around, and I asked the women, that was a J.C. Penney's.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was another regional chain down the street. Now, those were all stores that carried model kits at one point. I mean,
Yep.
Woolworths carried a lot of model
That
kits.
gets to what I was going to say before Ken so rudely cut me off.
Penny's carried model kits.
Brian bought up. He said
Drugs.
77 is when the department stores stopped. You know, their section got so, and we didn't have dedicated hobby shops where I was at, so department stores were it.
When I worked at Lesney and we had AMT, we did a huge amount of business with Kmart. You couldn't find a kit in Kmart in the last 20 years
Mm-mm.
if you put a gun to your head.
No.
I mean, they all got out of the category and they were doing really well for a long time, but it just kind of went away.
But I can understand a department store because, you know, their
Yeah.
accountants are looking at it with a cold calculating eye. How much shelf space, how much money, this isn't
They
working.
needed to turn more dollars per square foot than a discount store.
Nothing will rip the heart out of a young kid, a young man, an older kid, any kid, than walking into a Walmart or a Kmart, going to the model section and finding nothing but those bamboo vegetable steamers or something like that. You know, like, where are the models? Oh, we quit carrying those.
Winco.
And you're like,
It's yes.
and that, Your Honor, is when he psychologically broke. After that, all of a sudden, you know, small children and lame dogs started disappearing off the streets.
Let me tell you a funny story about that stuff. I used to sell Woolworths, and they would always have an end cap of those baskets that you would steam the food in.
God, I remember those things.
And they would have a Fairchild projector, which I don't know if any of the Blue Troopers remember that. It was basically a screen where they put a cartridge in and it just continually played.
We call it a film loop. Yeah, a film loop
and
projector.
it would have the commercial for it.
I didn't even know it was called a Fairchild projector. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So you would have this gigantic end cap filled with these baskets with this projector in the middle of it. And what would happen is that they would get shipped in this box, and in the box there was a sheet. And so once every 2 weeks, they'd take inventory and they'd fill out the sheet how much more they needed to reorder. And it was self-mailing. They'd fold it back up and it was sticky, and they'd put it in the mail, and they'd send more product to the store. So this would go on for the length of the promotion. At the end of the promotion, whatever they had left, they'd take the last sheet and put down how many they had left, mail it into Ronco. They'd give them a credit, and they'd throw the stuff out in the dumpster.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have Blue Troopers that grew up near some of the model factories, and they talked about dumpster diving for all the rejects that were thrown out and building kits out of it. One of them managed to get one of the only glow-in-the-dark USS Enterprises from Star Trek. I offered him $300 for it, and he wisely said no, because it maybe shot 2, 3, 4 of those things. I don't know if they toss it. That is a true unicorn. And
that goes back to what you said about around 77 when they started looking for, let's do something different.
So all the glow-in-the-dark stuff starts popping up.
Didn't he tell you to add a 0 to that number, Max?
What?
The
Oh,
$300.
no, but he probably could have. I wouldn't have paid it because I didn't have it. But still, I mean, if you want something that's just, let's face it, a factory reject, especially if it's something experimental, just gets tossed away because it's junk one day, but 30 years later, it's like, you remember seeing in Indiana Jones where the guy tells his nemesis tells him, and he's in Africa or wherever, he says that this is a watch, I got it for $10, right? It's worth nothing. But bury it for 1,200 years and let an archaeologist, dig it up. And now all of a sudden it's an artifact, a priceless artifact. And that's kind of the deal. Think about the cars we sold or $50 or $100. My grandmother's beat up old 64 Polara today get $3,000 just running. Half of us will just want to go back in time, buy nothing but a truckload of S kits and a bunch of cars and just put them in an airtight garage for 50 years. I mean, whoever thought people would be paying the kind of money they're paying for Volkswagen Beetles, Pintos, and you can't even find a Vega. They all rusted out. I don't even know if there's any Vegas still around. But to us, they were just junker cars because that was then and this is now. And let's be honest, speaking was the end in sight in 77 for the American auto industry. It pretty much was. But
well, it goes right back to kits. Who would have thought that a kit that you paid 79 cents for back in 1960 would be worth $300 today?
Exactly. And
I mean, this is something you bought. You either put it together or you blew it up or whatever you did to it, and that was it. And now they're getting all kinds of. It's like it's almost unfathomable. You can't fathom it.
I decided I wanted to get the Jupiter missile, the old Revell original Jupiter missile. Now they repopped it as part of the Heritage series, but it was sold by itself. In fact, Mr. Don, a guy who does a lot of rockets, been giving us submitting a lot of pictures, a lot of those beautiful rockets and everything. Don has been he got one, and it's the History series, the remake. I think he might actually have one of the originals. But I'm like, if I did find an original, I'd be afraid to build it because the people are getting $300. And this is now it does come with a lot of ground equipment and everything. I mean, it's a nice kit. He built in fact, the one he built is going to be in the next viewer's build. He's been sending me pictures of it. But he's over in the UK, and I thought the way he builds his models are so well done. I thought maybe he was some kind of aeronautical engineer. But he builds his own scaffoldings and everything. He's a scaffolding kits and stuff, and beautiful work. Anyway, I was like, that, and this is like a 3-piece rocket kit, 2 sides and a nozzle. Because you look at the Jupiter, it was a really basic looking missile, basically follow on to the Redstone. Anyway, I go online, I find one, and they want $200 for it. And I'm like, I don't want it that bad. And plus, I can get a repop for probably $50 or $80 that comes with a 4 able also. But it makes me realize this is like a 69-cent kit.
Hey, Gavin, nobody will ever want to restore a Cybertruck ever.
We say that now. let them disappear, and then people get nostalgia where they don't have. A lot of times, oh, I wish I had one. Then you find one, you have the chance to buy it, and you go, now that it's here, I really don't want it that bad.
I kind of thought maybe I'd like to buy my first car. Not the exact same car,
Yeah.
but just like that.
Similar car.
What would I do with it?
Yeah.
Where would I put it?
Take it to show.
Buy parts for it.
Same reason I haven't bought a half track. I think of the M3 half track's a cool vehicle. Where the heck am I going to put it? And where am I going to drive it?
You tie it up to your boat, Ken.
Any side street.
Well, okay. Speaking of that brings up another issue. Aurora made a ton of money with their probably more with their monster series than anything else. Godzilla, King Kong, and Dan's video today that he released was on Mighty Joe Young. And I always wondered, why didn't Aurora? They already had the King Kong mold. They could have done some simple remoldings and released it as a Mighty Joe Young kit. And that movie was popular. Why didn't they? Instead of him carrying the girl, she'd be standing in front of him. It'd be a little small, make the girl a little bigger. But why didn't they ever make a decent kit model of King Kong Escapes of the Mecha Kong? Because that was a really popular. There's all these lost opportunities, and I'm on. And by the way, Dan, if you're still watching, Linda Miller, who played the girl in Susan Watkins in King Kong Escapes, she's got her Facebook page. She does interviews and stuff. She might be an interesting one to talk to. That was the first King Kong or kaiju movie I ever saw at a theater back in 72 or 73 when it came
Dan
out.
just chimed in and he said because Mighty Joe Young didn't do well at the box office.
Really? Okay. Yeah. Okay. I didn't realize that it was a poor performer.
Well, you also have to understand that as we talk about a lot, there's only so much money to cut so many molds. So you have to kind of figure which one am I going to get the best return on the buck for.
Yeah, but they already had the King Kong mold. They could have just modified it a little bit.
Yeah, but once you modify the mold, then you can never make King Kong again. Then you got to make another mold.
Actually, not to get too much into it, there is a way to do it with inserts that can be removed.
Yeah.
You're going to be in the same basic pose, though. Okay. What, Ken? You're snickering at something. You drive
Hey, you noticed KLS and C says, Max, you drive an M3 half track when you go into any large city. You just need a real Ma Deuce for protection.
Well, duh, Bill. That's kind of a given. People are like, hey, is that a dummy gun you got up there? Yeah, sure it is. Because all dummy guns are loaded with live primers.
It's simple, Gavin. Number one, the DeLorean wasn't a truck. Number two, the DeLorean has gull-wing doors. Number three, the DeLorean still doesn't rust, and they were made in 1981. The Cybertruck comes out of the factory, they have rust on them.
What?
What?
I hadn't heard that.
Oh yeah, people get deliveries of new ones. They show it on YouTube. They have rust on them because it's a different grade of aluminum.
Aluminium.
It's a different grade of stainless.
Mm.
I mean,
doesn't rust.
The DeLorean's been out since '81. None of them have rusted away. They don't have surface rust.
I should just send Dan a link, see if he wants to join us.
Also, the Cybertruck looks like a dumpster.
You see, styling, I think, is more than anything else.
It's also bigger than I expected it would be.
It's very big. And more people are wrapping them.
I saw an all black one today.
They're-
Who in the right mind would have an entirely flat black Cybertruck in Florida. That makes
Yeah.
no,
Exactly. No, that makes no sense at all.
unless you want it to be an oven inside.
Right. And they also have them in turquoise, they have them in red, they have them in purple. And you're like, it wasn't ugly enough in stainless?
I had thought about that.
Oh, and John Ashley just pointed out, Gavin, never heard about DeLorean spontaneously combusting either.
By the way, I just popped an invite over to Dan if he wants to jump in.
Not all stainless is. Found that out when I started forging knives. Yes, 316 stainless is what we use on boats when you never want it to rust.
Well,
306 will. And there's other grades of stainless steel.
Yeah, there are.
well, as I was pontificating to Ken while we were waiting on you, Steve, I would say the golden era of kit model building was probably what, 59 to 69.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
But-
maybe 55.
Okay. But I would call that the first golden era because now, as we have talked about on this channel on occasion, you can get kits of stuff that didn't even, I mean, even though there are less model builders, they're not making by the millions anymore. The stuff that's out there is insanely good. That little DR1 I just built's a perfect example. Plus, you can get models of just about anything these days. And I'm not even getting into the 3D printing side of things. So I think we're in the second golden age of model building.
Yeah, I
It's,
agree.
it's just very different.
Everybody talks about, oh, well, the hobby's dying and there aren't many hobby shops and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, but
Meanwhile, there's so many more manufacturers now, albeit they may be smaller, but they have a broader range of products. And you can get just about anything you want, and they're all high quality.
yeah, and that
Very, very few of them are bad quality.
Maybe the hobby really isn't dying as much as it is morphing into something
Yes.
slightly different. I mean,
Morphing.
obviously, the kids who started out 55 to 65 or 9 or whatever it was, like us, have now got to the age where we have the money and the time to be able to go out and get these kits and put them together and remind us of our childhood.
Oh, Paul Adams just mentioned the movie Westworld, which came out in '73. I remember seeing that at the theater. They never made a model, or they ever make a model
Nope.
because with him with a
Nope.
removable face and that you think the Aurora monster sold? That puppy would have sold by the.
They never made a toy of it.
Yeah, that's a little odd because that was a big movie when it came out. But getting an example, what we were going to talk about, what I was telling Kim was the other thing is now when we were kids, you built the Spitfire out of the box or the Mustang or whatever. You slapped whatever decals, you put some, maybe if you were lucky and you had some money, you had 3 or 4 colors of paint to paint the tires, the camo, the belly, slap the decals on, hung on the ceiling, and Spitfire. Nowadays, it's, well, this was Flight Sergeant Smithy's Spitfire on, April 2nd, 1942 over the Isle of Wight when he downed an ME-110 and had 3 bullet holes in his rudder. And the research material that's out there is insane, thanks to the interweb. You have almost instant access. The pictures I'm about to show you, you guys know I just built that little triplane, that little Edward DR1 1/72 scale, which I put up. In fact, we were talking, I was checking my email. I just got an email from Tom Daniel. He was happy to see that it was in good company with his stuff that on my Tom Daniel shelf that I'll show you later. But so this is something that was sent to me.
Max is oblivious.
What?
Steve and I are both laughing, and you're just talking on and on and on.
Who's laughing?
Both
We
of
are.
us.
Because we're reading his comments.
Oh, ha 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 ha.
Ed Cooley says, every time I see a Cybertruck, there's a pack of raccoons chasing after it.
But everybody thinks of it.
Here we go.
Oh, here comes Dan. Hang on, here comes Dan. Let me turn these off.
All right, he decided to join us.
Let's get him big. Hey, there he
Hey,
is.
Dan, how you doing?
He's going to regret that.
Let me get him made 10 Dan Monroe. Guys, we have Dan from
Hey, Dan.
Get rid of the
Hey,
picture.
welcome.
there we
Can
go.
you?
There he is.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Yep.
Yep.
an absolute blast and cool opportunity to actually be on here with you guys.
Oh man, we love having you. You be here every week.
Say-
We every
I don't
one of
know,
us watches
say-
your stuff as soon as it comes out. Although I haven't seen the Mighty Joe Young yet.
Say that at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really think they didn't do a Mighty Joe Young because just despite the fact that Mighty Joe Young did, become a great thing, it didn't do well in the box office. So
A lot of these, Dan, you're the perfect guy to ask. I'll let you and Steve duke this one out. A lot of the movies, was it Planet of the Vampires and some of the others? They were all in their time, maybe B movie, how it was back then. But now they're cult favorites. And let's face it, since most model companies don't make million runs, they make 50,000 runs, and it's usually people like us that are buying it. There's like this huge marketing opportunity because I guarantee, and I will give guys like Steve Iverson credit, because he's doing what's her name from Metropolis,
Maria.
Maria, and he's doing. And by the way, they're really nice kits. But I think there's a huge marketing opportunity. Well, of course, I would say that because I'm a nerd, but.
Well, no, I think there definitely is, and companies like Mobius have really stepped up, not only reissuing a lot of the old stuff, but bringing out some new stuff. And man, go on Amazon and just you were right when you said that this is another golden age of model building, because all of us that are, we think this stuff is so cool. We're the ones now later in life with a few extra bucks. We're the ones buying the models. It's not the kids.
No, absolutely not.
Right.
In fact, Dan, you hit the magic words, a few extra bucks, because what are kids now? $50 for a I thought airport prices were bad.
Yeah.
Look,
But,
I always said the reason you don't have young kids in the hobby like it was back when we were kids is by the time you buy the kit, buy the paint, buy the glue, you're at $50-$60, and you got to kiss a lot of frogs before you make that prince. It just doesn't come out of the box and look good,
I
And they
have
just-
a plan though. You give a kid a bunch of like Atlantis repops, $10-$20 a piece, because Atlantis, God bless them, they still make models in the $20 range. Let them hone their model building skills, on the El Cheapo repops before you start giving them Tamiya and Zuikimura and Mobius. And by the way, Mobius kits can be tricky to find. The hen's teeth right now are the glass domes for the robot from Lost in Space. Dan, you got the last one we were able to find. Fran got it up to you. The glass dome for your model.
I actually, luckily, found another one from Mark Myers.
Hoard that thing like a gold bar.
Well, I've got, where is he? Here he is up here. I just had this guy made my first season.
Oh, beauty.
With the glass bubble, really well done. A friend of mine assembled it for me, but now he's doing one in the second, third season color. And I said, just don't finish it until I find another glass bubble. And everybody said, yeah, you're nuts. It'll never happen. But
Yeah.
Mark Myers sent me one. So
God bless.
right.
We were Ken and I did try to make you some first season legs. We were trying to engineer.
Yeah.
We could not make it happen. Now Ken's gotten better with 3D printing, so maybe at some point. But
I've always wondered, how come one of you guys who are brilliant model builders can't you find a way to make these bubbles even if they're clear plastic?
well, you
solid?
hear that 140 glue troopers? I just heard a gauntlet hit the floor.
Well, okay, but I mean, if you offered those even privately, you'd sell 1 billion of them.
There-
Don't call it Lost in Space, and I'll
Yeah.
put it on my channel, and you can retire.
There you go, guys. There's,
I mean, how hard could it be? It's a bottom piece. It's a bottom
a
piece.
little higher,
on
a little higher.
Yeah, I don't know if that's in focus, but it's just
That's
a
fine.
glass bottom.
Oh,
piece.
you mean for the bulb? I thought you were talking about the legs.
No, the bubble. No, the bubble, because they don't
Right.
make the bubbles.
That's
anymore.
right. They don't make the bubbles, and no one makes the legs.
Somebody should be able to make that. It's so cool without the seam. It's really neat.
I got
How many
lucky.
robot kits
both of mine, and
They're
there's
still running around.
one of my bills right there, and the other one's in our other. It's right here.
Yeah.
Along
Yep.
Rob. Now that is a pre-bought Robbie. I have a Robbie kit I haven't built, but that both of my what people call B9s. I'll let you tell us if that's really his designation or not. Both of mine are the Mobius kits. I have one in each room, but I was lucky. That one actually, I didn't even know when I bought it because I was oblivious. It was one of the old ones that came with the glass bubble.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't realize how rare that was. The other one I had to find. And then I swear to God, Dan, I'm not joking. The one we got for you, the Fran got the one for you, but the one I got before that for my second B9, it was Steve Iverson. I think it's the same guy Fran got his from. And I was at Pam's Con, and I was like, I have a bubble. And he's kind of like, it sort of got to sound like a back alley drug deal. And he's literally looking around. Okay. He reaches under the table. Don't tell anybody you got this. Okay, here's $50, And I was like, welcome to model world.
Yeah, there was only, I think, one episode in season 2 where they actually used B9. It was the one with a giant brain that took over all the robots, and he called them Robot Model B9. So that's, yeah.
So it
that's
is
where it
canon.
came from.
Okay.
Yeah, it is canon. I just picked up one of these Massadea Robbies, but it's
I have one of those.
it's the big 3-foot one.
Oh, wow.
No, 2 foot. It's 24 inches, but I took them all apart and I put lights in them. And I'm going to try to get
Impressive.
Fred Barton to make me a little mouth that flashes. He's really cool.
Doesn't he flash?
I
Doesn't he talk? He's got a
Yes,
record player in it.
Yeah, I took it out. It was terrible. I took it out.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
I got mine from the Matsudaira guys at Nuremberg. They had the booth across the hall from us, and at the end of the show, I said, "You guys want to sell that?" They went, "Oh yes." They sold it to me for like $50. I mean,
Now, did you have the same problem I had? Because none of the parts really fit right at all on this one. It was horrible.
It was all put together because it was the show one.
Oh,
Steve
gotcha.
used to work in the kit model and toy
I used to
business as a
work in the
sales
toy
rep,
business.
so he got to go to all the international shows and get the.
Cool.
His basement is a museum.
Yeah.
Not exactly up there with the late Mr.
With
Burns,
Phil.
but
It's
no,
respectable.
Phil Separano and who was
It's not bad.
the
Steve's got a
gentleman
pretty
who
good
just passed? Was it Burns?
Yeah, Bob Burns.
Bob Burns. Man, God, I'm getting
Bob
old.
Burns is
Brain
like
farting.
the guru of all movie science fiction like stuff. 'Cause
Yeah,
he's got
it's
the real stuff.
all of his stuff. I got to be a little careful here, but when he passed, basically everything went into a giant storage facility, which is being looked after with very high security. I'm assuming eventually all of it will go to auction, and end up God knows where. It would be so nice, I was talking to Greg Nicotero the other day, and I said, Greg, just buy a space and put everything in it and open it up for $10 a person and call it, Bob's Basement, but we're not really sure what's going to happen with it. But as of today, everything, including Mighty Joe Young and Kong and frickin' Time Machine, they're still around.
Hey Dan, I got a question for you.
Those Halloween things he used to do at his house were unbelievable.
Well, that's where one of the next videos I'm going to do is something on Alien, the original Alien. And when he did his Alien party, he just called Fox, and they brought this semi over and dumped everything in it, like the 12-foot Nostromo, it's just sitting in his backyard. I'm like, what?
I had a chance to buy the 18-foot Hunt for Red October submarine, which, by the way, was only the top half. Okay. Yeah, it was only the top half. It was on a trailer, and it was on eBay, and they couldn't give it away because nobody had a place to put an 18-foot prop. I had a chance to buy
You were going to put it
Michael's.
in your living room, right?
Well, I had a chance to buy Michael's charger from Burn Notice. If you ever watched that show, they had about a half dozen of those things, but one of the rollers, it didn't. I don't think it had an engine or transmission, but it was screen used, and they wanted like $2-3 grand for it. And I was like, again, what am I going to do? I mean, they had all of the sets from the bar they used to hang out at and everything, Carlitos. And they were asking like $1,500 for all the furniture. I'm like, this was real screen used stuff. But and the show had a pretty good following, but I'm like, where am I going to put it? And
How many years ago was that, roughly?
it was about 2 years after Burn Notice went off the air. So I guess, God, when did Burn Notice quit airing? About 2012. So I guess it's about
Yeah,
2015.
12, 13, yeah.
So about 15, 16.
You know what? While I've got you, you guys would be the perfect guys to ask, because one thing I'm missing in my collection
Okay.
is a decent enterprise model.
what's up?
I can build it myself, but I'm looking for
All right, I'll come over.
suggestions
Okay.
for an enterprise model that I can get a lighting kit with that's decent. Like, what would
Okay.
you guys recommend? The
Not an
original
old
series.
one. Do
No,
not buy anything
no.
vintage.
No.
Because the sagginess
something-
cells were part of their charm.
Yeah, something that comes with a lighting kit, or where I can get a specific lighting kit for it that's not gonna, require me to sell my robot here.
Yeah, I would imagine Tenor Works probably has plenty of lighting kits, but
I'll-
give us
I'll
60
be right back.
seconds
I
and
got
I'm pretty
the
sure
details.
some answers are going to start popping up here. But
Okay, great.
okay, Steve went a Veter bye-bye, so he
be
answered his
back.
phone, so something happened.
He
Uh,
just said he'll be back.
Yeah, I lost my script of the chat. So if anybody,
Okay,
like,
here-
I got
I
it.
mean, who makes current?
Okay.
Who makes current?
Polar
enterprises?
Lights 1350 Enterprise kit is getting recommended by J.M. Klodick.
Polar Lights. What was it?
1 to 350.
Okay.
Actually, I got to be honest. All the Polar Light stuff I've built has been pretty good. Definitely I would stay away from the older NPC or AMT stuff because they
Yeah.
were famous for sagging the cells. Now
So
you
where
want
would-
you want the original series, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And you want
So-
okay, right? All right.
And then would there be somewhere where you go to get a lighting kit for the 1/350th?
JM
I'm-
says that the stock kit is the one you want.
Yeah, the stock.
Oh, it's-
Everybody's saying Polar Lights. I think I've got like 3 people saying 1 to 350 Polar Lights with all the lights. So Trey is one of the guys to go to for this.
Oh, so Polar Lights actually
apparently has a lighting kit. If not,
Oh,
you can check
wow.
out Tenna Controls. They make the lighting kits for all the Lost in Space models. I have
Yeah.
all of the my batteries are dead, or the lights would be going on my Jupiter 2 up here. That is like
Yeah.
fully lighted. I did it all myself, soldered. I've got build videos on it, and I'm gonna be honest, kind of a nightmare to build. But I had to learn to solder all of it. Ken's snickering at me because he can.
So whatever happened to that guy who can't build models named Dan Monroe? If I were just to out of curiosity, if I were to send you a Polar Lights 1/350th Enterprise and the lighting kit, what would you charge me to build it?
I probably wouldn't charge you anything other than
Well,
just
yes, you would.
okay.
Pretend-
Whatever paints and glues I had to buy, and
Are you talking like $1,000 or?
oh God, no!
Oh, really?
Ken's like,
Oh, well, you should have said yes.
I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if I charged somebody $1,000. I know who you need to have do it. Who's in that ballpark?
Yeah.
And that is Landon Montgomery. Hold on, let me look real quick. He has a YouTube channel, and he does a lot of those. He does a lot of Jupiter 2s. He does a lot of Enterprises and stuff. And I want to say and I've emailed him a few times. Super mellow, nice young guy.
But it would be kind of cool to have a model that was built by Max. I mean, I'm just saying.
Okay,
I'm just saying,
Remember Petroni said in airport,
Stand
okay, enough of the cream. I've already had dessert. But
If you want a 5-foot standoff model, Max is your man.
mine has curb appeal. It looks good from the curb. I'll tell you what.
let's talk. Let's talk.
We'll
about that in the
talk
future.
later.
Yeah, okay.
Because I'll be doing an entire build series about building this for Dan Monroe. And
Oh, jeez, come on.
you realize your channel has gotten what 150,000 subscribers now?
No, I will be at 200,000 next week.
And you've been doing this what, a year?
In a little over 2.5 years. Incredible.
I mean, first off, I understand why. I can see the increase in in the quality of your productions, your animations. You got whoever's doing that stuff for you is doing a great. I know you do a lot of it yourself, but you also have I mean, this is kind of a niche thing, models and stuff. You have a very broad appeal because it's movies and music and monsters. I mean, that covers, and I think you do a great job with it. Plus, I know you and your wife both have musical skills, which help a lot.
Well, it's it all happened by accident because you can hear it. You can hear my voice cracking. 3 years ago, I woke up one morning and one of my vocal cords died. Overnight, couldn't sing anymore. So, no, literally, hello, welcome to life. See?
Yeah.
You have no idea how many hours I spent trying to do a 10-minute show with my voice this bad. But at that point, I put up a video about my robot, and I got a notification from YouTube that said, hey, you got 300 subscribers overnight. If you could reach 1,000, you could be a thing. And I said, yeah, who can get 1,000 subscribers? So I just looked at it like a business, and I decided I would never be negative, and I would be only positive and fun, and have the robots do the thing. And I've been unbelievably fortunate because of the audience. And YouTubers never thank their audience enough, ever. And I constantly am reminding them that, hey, guys, without you, this wouldn't exist. And I'm just super blessed.
And I'm glad you're that way, because let's face it. I mean, it helps that we're a little bit older, but how many people's lives have been ruined by some popularity going to their head?
Yeah, my wife always says, luckily you don't really have an ego. Or, hey, Tigger, hey, buddy, you want to be on Max's channel?
Hey, oh boy, I hope Honey doesn't come in. She's very terrible. Oh gosh, she looks like Honey. Hey, who doesn't love a gratuitous cat shot?
Hey, Dan, I saw something on a channel. I can't remember the name of the channel right now. Oh, it had that guy from Mythbusters. The guy that's
Adam does a ton of
Adam
videos.
Savage,
yeah. Well, they just did an unboxing of the Enterprise D, and it was 3.5, 4 feet long.
That's one of those pre-made jobs. That's like
would that be the Tomy line?
Probably.
It was very limited production, and
very
$750.
That's way more than I can afford. They're gorgeous. They're beautiful.
I thought about getting one of the tricorders because I always loved the tricorder from the original Star Trek. And of course, I'm sure you've seen some of the original movie props. When I saw them at the Smithsonian, Ken and I actually saw them at the Smithsonian when they had their big temporary Star Trek thing. They had one of the original wooden phasers, not a hero phaser. But you look at this stuff, like, man, it's so disappointing up close.
Well, for sure. But remember, back then in the 50s and 60s, nobody had high definition television.
Yeah. You can't even see the sparkle on the pants or the Velcro for the phasers.
Oh, yeah. And, it's hilarious. That's great.
Vacuform science fiction. But but it's Langdon Montgomery, though. He does a lot of those things. But I'll have to clear off my desk, because if I do build for you, I'm going to make sure it's done right.
He does a really good F4.
Well, I appreciate that. My next door neighbor happens to be the only Marine in Vietnam to shoot down a couple of MiGs during the Vietnam War. He was the backseater. He and his pilot, Bear Lassiter, basically got 1.5 MiGs. They shot one down and they tagged the other one, but they're sure he limped home. But apparently they're the only Marines with air-to-air. The only other Marines to get air-to-air kills were in composite crews, Air Force, Marine, Navy, Marine. They were the only all-Marine crew right at the end of the war. So it turns out that the 132nd Scale Tamiya Marine Corps Marine is his plane with his name on the canopy. I almost fainted when I saw that. So I took a couple of months to do a real nice build of it, and I did a video that's out there of me presenting it to him, and he was shocked at the detail. So was I. But
that's very cool.
You did a good job with that, Max, with that cockpit and everything.
So that'll be that kind of build. Because right now I am building one of the worst kits I've ever built, and I'm going to finish it as a matter of pure spite. And that's the Testor's 132nd Scale F-117 stealth fighter. And
so wait, I'm assuming these are planes, right?
That's an airplane, yes. These are planes, yes. I'm sorry.
Real planes.
I never really. I didn't grow up with military toys, so F-150. I'm assuming that's a plane.
The F-117 is that diamond wedge shaped thing they were hit bombing Kosovo with. And if you ever saw the movie Stealth which is
Yeah.
a horrible movie. Well, wait a minute. There were two movies made stealth. I'm sorry. Not the one with Jamie Foxx, but the other one where they literally drop the plane out of the back of a C-5 and he unfolds the wings in flight. And I'm kind of like, yeah, that does not work the way you think that works. But,
You know, now that I got you on, Max, I got to tell you that every single time I do anything on models of any kind, in fact, I was on your channel 2 days ago looking at something. I go right to your channel. I'm like,
Oh.
well, this is where the information is. I was going to do something on what was the model company that did the Star Wars models in the 70s?
that was NPC.
Yeah, so I watched your thing on the history of NPC. Then I just take what you say word for word, slightly change it. And
Go for it, man. Feel free. The AMT got all the Star Trek stuff, so NPC picked up all the Star Wars stuff. Although Polar Lights, and now it's much more crossbred. Companies got bought out, so then Revell Monogram had it. Blah 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 blah. I mean, it's
Wasn't the Spock figure though? Wasn't that, so
that was
popular?
AMT.
But that also got picked up by another company at the same time,
Right,
right?
because Monogram Revell, I think, leased the molds, if I remember right. It's kind of been so long since I did the research on those. But molds get passed around. They're a corporate asset, so they get leased and passed around. Now, the Spock mold, the original Spock mold's been destroyed because they used it to make the new Spock mold after the movies came out. So they cut the original one to make the new one. So you can't make it, but between 3D printing and laser scanning and everything else, you got 3D printer guys that make them, and anybody, the thing is the licensing with that stuff.
Yeah.
And and don't even get me started on Godzilla and Toho. But what the time is 7:50. So we have a running gag here. How long after the show starts before I say Godzilla?
Okay. That is one subject that people ask me to do, but I am so unfamiliar with it, and it's such a huge topic.
I would be delighted to help you with it any way I can, but I will warn you. And I think it would be perfect for your show. But I will warn you. You can go on YouTube right now and see at least without any problem. And I've got 6 or 7 Godzilla books. I got one of them right over here. But there are a dozen really good Godzilla documentaries out there. I would say just go watch a couple of them.
Yeah. So if I ever, finalize that into a script, I'm mostly worried about the pronunciations of the names, but I could send you the script and you could kind of look it over.
Absolutely. I would be thrilled to help.
Sure.
That'd be great.
Another one. I think, did you ever do Major Matt Mason? Because Steve Jarvis mentioned Major Matt Mason. Did you ever do Major Mason?
No, not yet.
That's another one that's very well. And I was a space cadet. Well, was.
Still is.
Yeah, still are. But I am so sorry I missed out on the chance to help you with the Aurora one. I would have done that in a heartbeat.
Well, yeah, but I got all my information from you anyway.
It's okay. But
Max, that's pretty amazing when you're the source material for somebody like Dan to do
Okay.
this.
Dan, there's something you should watch out for, and this happened to me, and I actually got involved with YouTube to fix it. I mean, to be honest, it's flattering in a way. People were downloading my video, recutting it, and re-uploading it on their own channel.
Mm.
Now, before I monetized, I probably would have, but then I retired, and all of a sudden the money stopped magically coming in the bank twice a month. And I was like, I think I better monetize the channel. That pays for about 6 cans of paint a month. But still, you may want, there's a thing on YouTube, and I tell you to get there, forget how, but they can actually scan for your content being used.
Yeah, I do that regularly.
Okay, good.
So far I've been lucky. There will be people that take clips every once in a while. That's fine. I don't really care.
I use screen grabs, but usually because I'm mentioning you.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, listen, it's Space Wife Debbie's birthday weekend, so we're off to dinner. But I want to thank you so much for having me on. Max, let's talk about the Enterprise thing. And I just popped on randomly because whenever I see you're live, I got to listen.
I appreciate that, Dan. I'm flattered, and just shoot me. We can Zoom or whatever. We'll work something out. I'll be thrilled to help. And happy birthday to Miss Debbie.
Space Wife Debbie. Yeah, she's
getting
her Leia gold bikini on as we speak.
There you go.
Oh, Steve's back. Okay. Of course, you say bikini and he suddenly appears.
And listen, Dan, I'm sure
Okay, Steve, you just froze.
tickets at the new stadium.
Oh my gosh. You know what? I could literally go outside and throw a rock and hit the new stadium. And I hope I don't get in trouble, but I didn't grow up with sports. The last game that I ever saw of the Buffalo Bills had Jim Kelly quarterbacking. That's how long
There you
ago.
go.
Yeah, so I mean, I've never been to a game, but everybody parks their cars on the lawn
Yes.
here. They get $60 a car. I don't do it because
Yep.
I'm a lawn snob, but I'll be sitting on the front porch
With a shotgun.
and 80,000 people are walking by after the game, and every once in a while I'll hear, "Who is that?"
All right. That's when you know you've arrived.
I guess. Guys, thank you so much, and
Hey, have a
next time I
nice
see you-
dinner.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Take care, everybody.
And thanks for coming out. Take care,
You
brother.
betcha. Ciao.
See you soon.
Ciao. Well, that was an unexpected pleasure.
How
about
cool
that?
was that?
How cool was that? Ken?
Yes, that was very cool, Max.
Oh, he doesn't get it. Okay, all together. 3, 2, 1. How cool was that? Oh, God, we're terrible. Anyway, man, we got 140. Dan comes on, we go up 30 viewers. So anyway, that was great. So thanks, Ken. Now I'm on the spot to do a flawless build. I won't sleep for a month.
After Dan left, it went from 147 to 141.
Oh, and it's just going to keep ticking down now. There's
It'll
just the
keep
three of
plummeting.
us. Like a meteor. So
Got a lot of comments on the channel about the Leia
Thing
figure
in the background.
I just realized something. That means once I build it, I got to get it to him. Road trip!
Why don't you build it and bring it when you go to see him? And
We don't have enough time. We're talking about a fully lighted kit, expertly built.
Max, you still have how many days? 2 weeks?
It will take 2 months to build a fully lighted Enterprise to the standard I expect to do him. Somehow he has mistaken somebody who studies the history of models with someone who can actually build them. I know what I'll do. I'll just sub it out to Langdon Montgomery.
You did a good job on the F4. You can do good quality
No,
stuff.
I can do the Enterprise. The thing is that you know what I'm going to have to do?
What?
And I've got some Star Trek models in the stash. I'm going to have to practice on them and get my techniques down and use only the best techniques on it. And, but
you have
that
to
will.
start telling. You have to start telling Sparky not to put up videos during the live stream.
Yeah, talk to him about that.
Yeah.
We're now down to 127.
Yeah, oh yeah, Dan's gone, fun's over. But okay, the interesting guy left.
Oh, here you go. Francis says, Max, subcontract out the build to Trey.
I kid you not, Frank. About 5 seconds before you read that idea popped in my head.
That would be cheating.
There's no cheating in model building except taking credit for other people's work. I go, oh, gosh, I guess that's what I would be doing.
Or maybe you could do you could do one half and he could do the other half or something.
No, what I do is call him for advice on how to address these things.
Do that too.
You can handle the electrics. Trey can handle the biggest problem I have with these kits. I have two major problems. One, seams. I'm gonna have to buy another one of those Display little electric sanders. Although my understanding is that the Polar Lights kits aren't really bad about like the old AMT kits were. You know, the Enterprise I have on my shelf, which I did light, by the way, with all handmade wiring. I did that, all the flashy light. I did all that just by rigging my own stuff up, putting flasher circuits in, old school. And and I thought it did a nice job. Then I took a bunch of photos, and when I zoomed in on the photos, you could see all the rough seam putty and everything. And then you've got another problem with a lit kit. You've got to make it robust enough that the stuff, a wire doesn't break or something, because that means breaking the kit apart to fix it. And that's the real nightmare. But this Jupiter 2 that I did that I normally have new battery. Man, it'll, you realize it'll suck all 6 AA batteries dry in the time we do a live stream. I put in brand new batteries on our last live stream, and about halfway through, it was already going. But the
What did you, Max?
I put 6 fresh up. Anyway, oh, we're down to 118 now. Yeah, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock.
116. It's dropping fast, Max.
But well, I might schlub it down there to Orlando and have you help me out with it or something. But I think I can manage it. But the biggest problem with the Enterprise is the color. No one can agree on the color because there's the color you see as it sits on the set. You see it in daylight. Then there's the different colors you see when it's on screen because of the lighting and the special effects. A lot of people go, "Oh, it's goose egg gray," no, or goose egg blue. No, it's actually white. No, it's actually sort of an off white. And no one can seem to agree because different lighting conditions. Listen, one thing, Dan will have to figure out what color how does he want it to look like that goose egg blue, like it looks like on the screen, or do you want it to look white, or do you want it to have that?
Ask him what color he wants.
See how you want it because anyway, and he'll understand because he's Trey did a beautiful Enterprise that I've seen him take down to some of the conventions, and I believe he made it white. And the nice thing about white is all the details pop. Then some people want to put all the Aztec pattern all over it, which you didn't really see in the original series. But then people watch the redone stuff in high def, and they've added all that to it. So, just agreeing on what it's supposed to look like is half the problem. Which dovetails in to the next thing we were going to talk about. And that is finding resource material. Now, I just very recently finished that little Fokker triplane that, let me grab the picture real quick, I meant to have it in here, that I put up on the shelf with all my Tom Daniel stuff. And here's the picture. And TD emailed me at the same time. That's okay. This is my Tom Daniel shelf. And if you're wondering why there is a S2F and that weird looking black German airplane, the S2F is the actual airplane that TD crewed when he was in the Navy. He was a madman, a sonar man, and magnetic anomaly detector guy. So I made one from his squadron. That's the Comet kit. Anyway, the little black German airplane is one that he took the Lindbergh Dornier 335 and modified it. He made that airplane. All I did, he sent it to me unfinished, that it'd been in his stored away for 40 years if I wanted to finish it. So I finished it off, put the gear on it, came up with some props and the canopy and a few things, but he did all the wings and fuselage and gun chines and everything. And the man does flawless work. I mean, I have never seen a styrene kit bash. There were no seams or anything to be found. But anyway, if you look at the upper right, he gave me that Red Baron hot rod recently and the card. And I was working on that DR1 at the time. I was like, what are the odds of that? I was just about to start it. So I painted the cowling red today to match the one in the, this is the one I had on my video yesterday. So I airbrushed the cowling red, so now it matches the one in the card. So I got that up there with it, which, by the way, guys, that is the Edward Weekend Edition DR1. I will reiterate for those who didn't see it, it is the finest little 1/72 scale DR1 I have ever built, especially after having done that Rodin one recently, where all independent struts and everything. This kit was an absolute dream to build. I mean, we're talking Tamiya quality. And the seat belts are decals, which made them real easy to put on. So anyway,
Like the killer umbrella and Rommel's rod.
Yeah, that's the Rommel's rod that I did. And
I'm talking about the umbrella.
I put that on here. Now, by the way, the Rommel's rod in the box was another gift from TD. He signed. You can see above the hood where he signed it. The one on top was a repop that I built. The full kit is still in the box. These are both gifts from TD, as is the big pre-made plastic one, die cast and plastic one. So And of course, the big green vehicle was Patton's Power Wagon that I did from our TD inspired build. So that's my Tom Daniel shelf. And but when I was doing the Red Baron's airplane, I ran into the problem of what the Red Baron's airplane actually looked like. And fortunately, a couple of guys, Copperhead Modeling, a few others, sent me some pictures and some information. And these are all the Red Baron's airplanes. He may have flown some others, but these are the ones he's known to have flown. And as you may be able to tell, he flew a whole bunch of different airplanes or kept repainting the ones that he flew. The whole thing about the red triplane was really he did get a few victories in it, and it's the one he was killed in. So that's what everybody remembers. But the reality is that he got most of his kills on an Albatross. And yeah, he did paint a lot of his airplanes red, but not all of them. So if you want, but the point I'm getting at is if you want to research stuff today, there is so much material out there. There are decals made for virtually every iteration of airplane that he flew. And it's probably the most documented airplane in history is, and his red DR1 had different paint schemes on it. The whole thing gets so confusing. Back when we were kids, we didn't have access to the internet. You didn't know if you were painting something wrong, so you were happy as a clam to just paint his airplane red, put the crosses on it, and we're done. Hanging from the ceiling.
Maybe the different paint schemes is after certain repairs were done.
It could have been, or just paint came available, or he used to get a little silver cup made for every plane he would shoot down, but after about 60 of them, the little silversmiths that told him he couldn't find the silver anymore. So, it might have had as much to do with supplies, what was available. I do know that most of the camouflage ones or street pattern ones he had, that's the way I think they sent them from the factory. So, he would start flying the airplane, as I would assume, because, they were moving the airfields around all the time. And I would assume that as time and other things were available, he would paint the airplane. And he may have just looked at it one day and just, like some actress wanting her dressing room painted. Raoul, I think this would look better if it was green. So just, yeah, Hans, paints the whole thing red. Who knows? By the way, he wasn't the only one with a colorful flare. These are, I found this picture online for all the German aces. And I mean, the German Air Force were firm believers in Machat's law. No two airplanes should ever be painted the same, and in their case, not even frickin' close.
Somebody says he only flew one plane once.
I wouldn't surprise me. Of course, also, a lot of guys didn't have dedicated aircraft. You just flew what was available. Watch the Blue Max. This is the plane you're going to fly for now. And when something else comes ahead, today you're going to fly the triplane. I mean, it wasn't like
it crashed. They had an engine problem.
Yeah, that was the Eindecker. That was, go back here. That was the one, the yellowish one, center left on the bottom. The one wing, the Eindecker. And yeah, it even mentions here that he never shot anything down in it, that he had engine failure and crashed on his first flight. So, and given the mechanical reliability of those engines, that does not surprise me in the slightest. But, getting back to our comment on it being the second golden era of model building, you've got tons of information available to you today, to the point of virtual overload. I mean, building models is becoming a history lesson. Here is the instructions for a model from KP, and I caveat plastic. I can't say what it stands for, but KP. This comes in the kit. There's 3 options, and this, good God, I get dizzy just looking at that dazzle pattern, or a lozenge pattern. But I mean, I didn't know they painted their airplanes purple, but why not? you do know that drugs like cocaine and heroin were pretty easily available back then. Because
Meanwhile, that plane, that paint scheme, Porsche painted one of their 917s that went to Le Mans, that exact scheme,
which one?
the purple and green.
Really?
Yeah. It's in the Simone Museum here in Philadelphia.
Oh, wow. It just says it's an LVG from Imperial German Air Service 1918. Okay. I don't think it had a particular pilot, but
Oh, Bill Paul says something interesting. He said that almost also most World War I aircraft would have only 30 to 40 combat hours before becoming war weary.
well, it was wood and linen, you know. You had castor oil lubricating your engine, so the pilots were constantly suffering from the runs. But yeah, it's a miracle that any of those things are still even together today. Never mind the handful of them that can actually still fly, although they normally just land them and take off and land, and they don't even go around the field. But and even brand new, they weren't exactly the most reliable things on Earth. There's some footage from the Albatross factory that made it online recently. It's been remastered, but I was like, it really makes you how much work it took to build one of those things. Now, but again, one of the big advantages we have though is with the internet. Here's Ernst Udet's airplane, one of them, and I think Lowe was the nickname of one of his ex-wives, and it says, if I remember correctly, Dudak nicht on the elevator, which means not this time, essentially, or this time not. But basically laughing at the people who would chase him around the sky. You're not going to get me this time. Udet had like 63 victories, survived the war, became an aerobatic pilot after the war, considered probably the finest actual pilot in the German Air Service. Some people would argue the world. He was kind of the Bob Hoover of his day. And he was an interesting guy. The famous British ace, Eric Winkle Brown, was tutored by Udet before World War II. That's why Brown learned to speak German. He said, you must learn to speak German. So he did. But he had just a wonderful opinion of Udet. And they asked him about, what about, joining the you-know-what party during the war? Yeah. And he wound up committing you-know-what because he wasn't going to be part of it any longer. That's a whole nother story. But he was a great pilot. And by all accounts, a really fun guy, But, sorry, got off track there. Point I'm getting at is that this is from Turbo Squid. You go out to sites like Turbo Squid, you find all these airplanes with all these different angular views. Some of them you can actually rotate it. So you have all of these resources available to make a hyper accurate model if you want to. Good God, I'm getting dizzy trying to count the red stripes on that wing. That'd be a nightmare to paint. But it's like the Germans deliberately painted their airplanes to irritate future model makers. But you got to give them credit. They were nothing if not colorful. And when I see somebody makes a model of this at one of the conventions or something, I am genuinely impressed. And if you want to do something different, here's one for you. This is a Roland D6. And Steve, Ken, look at this airplane and tell me what about it looks unusual, other than the purple.
Well, we won't see it for 20 seconds anyway.
Oh, okay.
So we have 20 seconds of silence. Wow. That's never...
Well, I think your eye will go right to it, but if not, we'll give you a moment to stop and look at the German.
Colorful.
Look at the German airplane. Hint, wink, wink.
Looks like somebody threw up on it.
It does. But you notice anything about it? Maybe just
it makes it hard to make out the outline.
Yeah. Come on, somebody's got to see this.
You mean the star?
The big American star on the wing?
Where? Oh, over there. Oh.
Over there.
I wasn't even looking.
Yes, how ironic. Over there. That.
Do that again.
That'll make you pay attention in class.
That hurt.
So that is a captured one after the war at Fort McCook near
Lance
Dayton, Ohio.
Lavelle got it.
Huh?
Lance Lavelle got it.
There you go. Well, apparently after the war, we grabbed a bunch of their airplanes, a lot of their better aircraft, and brought them over to see what made them tick, and we put them in American markings. And the one everybody really wanted to get their hands on was the Fokker D7. Here is an American at Fort McCook in near Dayton, Ohio. I think it was McCook. Oh, was the name of the airfield. This is a Fokker D7 after the war in American markings. Now, if you wanted to do something different, here's, an example. Well, I did not even know we painted him like that. This is why the internet becomes so handy. And I don't know. I'm assuming that other color is sort of a yellow or a white, on the one on the upper left. But it's like,
is that the actual aircraft, or is that just a replica?
No, that's the real one. The Air Force actually saved one of them. They brought 5 of them over. They gave one to the NACA, which, yes, NACA, the forerunner of NASA, did exist back then. And I think it's actually the NAC airplane that they repainted, that they saved and repainted. The Air Force probably. You got to remember, like you're talking about, these things had a very short service life. Although, if I'm not mistaken, they tested one of them to destruction on the ground and then did everything they could with the others. And then they kept them around for a little while. And I guess they just got old. But the NACA, when it was done testing, held on to the airplane. And it's now been restored a couple of times. And it's in American markings. And it's a museum piece. I think it's at that Military Aviation Museum in Norfolk. Or not Norfolk. It's near Norfolk. Virginia Beach, I believe. And yes, they actually did put some of the D7s, a regular squadron service, into the 20s because they were better than anything we had. And we used a lot of them. We also had a bunch of American-made SE5s with Liberty engines. So, if you want to put a D7 in American markings, it'd be post-war, but there you go. That is an example of how. But it took me a while to find these. And it gets back to what we're talking about now, how difficult it can be to research some of this obscure stuff. But thanks to the interconnectivity of the electron, we do actually have some chance of finding it. I stumbled onto something else I had never seen before. This aircraft carrier, CV-36, is the USS Antietam. It's an Essex class. You will notice all of the aircraft on it are orange and white, which I imagine most glue troopers immediately know means that it's a training carrier. Those are aircraft out of Pensacola. And the T-2 Buckeyes. What shocked the crap out of me was when I looked at the stern, I expected to see the T-28 Trojans. Nope. Those are A-1 Sky Raiders in orange and white training paint schemes.
A1?
Or A40, depending. In the Navy, they're A1, I think, or A40. I forgot who did. No, the Air Force, they're A1. The Navy, they're A40. Anyway, but the point is, they're Sky Raiders in training colors. I'm like, wait a minute. Whoa. Pump the brakes. I'm pretty sure the Sky Raider was never a trainer. Well, it was never a primary trainer. But they had to give something for future Sky Raider pilots to fly. So some of the older Sky Raiders, were used as trainers for guys who were training on the Sky Raider. And they had to go out and trap on the carrier in them. So they painted them in training command colors. And I started thinking, oh, wait a minute, I've built a couple of Sky Raiders, but I got a bunch more on the shelf. What, pray tell, options do I have for some wild color schemes? And the Navy did not disappoint. Nor the Marines, nor the Air Force for that matter. These are just some samples.
I got a question for you, Max.
Yeah.
When the orders come out to paint a plane, how specific were the services, did they vary, in that they gave to the painters and said, paint it this way? Or did they just say, here, put some of this color on it and do what you want?
Ken, I'm only going to guess here that it's a combination of those two things. I believe, because I have seen so many training aircraft in uniform paint schemes and so many that were not, I am going to guesstimate that they were told to put so many square feet of orange to make it visible. And local unit commanders probably came up with their own design, because I have never seen. Now, this would have been back then. Now they are all in absolutely uniform paint schemes. You go out and see all those Texans, except for the numbers on the side, they look identical. But I think there were probably a lot more autonomy in a squadron back then. And I would imagine each squadron kind of wanted to put their own spin on it. They may have done it on purpose by squadron, so you could just glimpse one and tell he's in VT 25, he's in VT 32, whatever. But
There we go. We just got an answer.
what's that? Oh, where? No, it says okay. The very specific with specific patterns. Okay, well there you go. Given how much they change, I'm assuming they change the patterns rather frequently because, for whatever reason. But that makes sense. I know in the Army, the one thing I always saw was the UH-1s came by, and the UH-58s, they always had orange doors. That was, on the UH-1, it was the sliding doors. On the key UH-58s, it was all 4 doors. But they were always bright orange. And usually
Brian
there was
Knapp
something on the
says-
nose.
Brian Knapp says usually there is a specific paint directive for any military aircraft.
That
A
makes
lot-
sense.
and somebody else, Bill Paul says, a lot depended on if the paint job was done at the depot or field level.
Yeah, I'm speaking more field level stuff, but
Well, field level, a lot of it depended upon what paint you had at the time when you were there.
and but you see, this is exactly the kind of discussion I want to stimulate, because I am only guessing, but I am going to guess that within a squadron they were all pretty uniform, but outside of that, I don't know. And if there was a technical order, I don't know if the technical order was the same for all aircraft. Now, you look at those Bearcats; they had the exact same paint scheme. Those are, by the way, drones for one of the 1950s nuclear tests. So
That's why it also says the SEA USAF camouflage in particular had to be specific patterns. For the F4, I think there were 3 variants allowed.
that I did know, because I had seen that the Phantoms all look surprisingly alike for what seems like a random pattern, but there was nothing random about it.
And Brink Knapp says, for an unusual paint scheme, look for the Ferris scheme F-14s.
I think I know what he's talking about. Let me take a quick look for that.
And Slego says, I like how World War I Germans painted their own paint schemes. Great for morale and looks cool.
Yeah, I see what he's talking about. That was a dazzle pattern. It looks very German.
Did you put a picture of one of those?
I'm
F-14s
getting
yet?
it now. I gotta.
Okay.
Okay. And they played with it on the Phantom and a bunch of other stuff too. Okay, my mouse is hanging up here. Oh, come on, you showed me the picture on the other thing. Where's the picture here of it? Keith Ferris? Oh, there it is. Okay, got it. Here we go.
Paul Adams says a full paint job where training trim is added to an aircraft in an existing color scheme.
Yeah, all of these seem to be overpaints of existing schemes. Okay, hold on. View, zoom, fit the window.
Did the Trojan? It looks like maybe the Trojans actually did combat flying.
Yeah, yes, but not with the Navy. The Air Force and because they sold the airplane to a lot of foreign governments. So countries like Indonesia and stuff did combat with them. I don't know if American ones actually did combat or not. Paste. Okay.
There you go. Scale Modeler says, how about the U.S. Navy's camouflage Phantoms? There was a short experiment during Vietnam.
Yeah, they also camouflaged an RA-5C Vigilante, but that gets back to, you can use these internet sources to find specific aircraft and do unusual schemes and get away from the routine. And there it is. Okay. Open. Okay. And here is the F-14 with the Ferris pattern. And it basically, there's a couple of different patterns, but looks very reminiscent of the World War II sort of jagged edge, I guess you would call it, I don't know if you call it splinter pattern, the Germans did, but it has that 1940 Battle of Britain ME-109 look to it. 1940 Battle of Britain, sorry. And
Oh, that's cool.
that's a nifty scheme. I think they just decided, you know what, flat gray is virtually impossible to see. We'll just go with that. But there's something different you can do with your model. And
Steve Jarvis just said, when the snow starts flying here, I want to flee the south and camp out with Max's man shed. Max's man shed in the shed.
okay, something about that just sounded oh so wrong.
No, I've been in Max's man shed. You do not want to sleep in there.
So another one, we talked about this one a while back. And and mind you, I'm talking about resources here for model builders. You have all kinds of books and stuff, and you got all these, that are great references. You got one-off aircraft. Upper left, you're going to see a blue F-100F. That's the two-seat variant. And I think it was Copperhead Modeling told me, or somebody informed me that the reason it says Army on the tail, although you can't really read it in that picture, is the Army borrowed a couple of them from the Air Force, which I'm sure had Air Force pilots. They were used as radar targets for the Hawk missile, which makes sense. That way they could calibrate it and everything and do test work with it. But it's still a military aircraft, even though it looks civilian. And the Navy just borrowed one from the Air Force for some kind of test work, and they literally just painted Navy on the side and didn't change anything else. I don't know where the name Oink came from. But the point I'm driving at is that you have all these wonderful references for something new. And to quote Bill Murray and Stripes, if I do wear underwear, it's usually something unusual.
Why would you remember that?
Because they filmed that where I went to basic training at Fort Knox, Kentucky.
That's what he tells everybody. But there's another reason.
Hey, you're the one that knew the girl from the movie.
That's true.
And,
By the way, guys, we are coordinated tonight.
That's right. We're all blue.
We're all wearing Max blue.
are we? I hadn't even noticed.
The Blue Max and crew.
Oh, hey, we are the Blue Crew. All right.
The Blue Crew.
The Blue Crew, the Blue Max crew. And but we also have stuff like, and I dragged a bunch of them out here, Koku Fan. For those who are not familiar, it's a Japanese publication, and it's got all kinds of great pictures in it and everything. I was gifted a whole bunch of these from a glue trooper, and man, there's stuff in here I had no idea existed. And they get in some pretty obscure. You can do a Swedish Fiesler stork, it's a pity a lot of the photos of crafts are black and white, but that was the stuff of the day. But I don't even know what Koku Fans means. But they do have a lot of color photos, and I do miss the day when the Navy used to put their jets in really flamboyant colors. The Air Force too had these big, loud colors and shiny silver airplanes because they said we're the U.S. Air Force and we fear no one. But also, another booklet sent to me. Model builders have got some of the best historical resources available to them. And what I like about this is even though all the photos are black and white, they have plenty of artist rendition to give you the color palette. And I got to admit, I have no desire to camouflage one, that complicated. I don't know if it'll focus, but this little natter's just got that speckle pattern on it. I'm like, how do you, I guess you paint it the darker gray or paint it the lighter gray and just go and put tiny little bits of putty all over it, just little dabs, and then spray it again. Or you can paint the darker color and try to dab on the lighter colors, but it's one of those confusing patterns. It's just like, God, that would be a nightmare to paint. That's how you make a simple kit complicated.
Ken, where's Ricky?
Just standing right over here.
Oh, okay. Not bored yet?
Oh, he
way,
left.
way bored.
Okay.
Very, very bored.
So,
He's waiting for me to get over so we can do something together.
Your hour's up, ain't it?
It's 2 hours.
hey, you didn't know
Start
that when
now.
I hosted.
And then it went to 2 hours.
Other
Sometimes-
sources, of course, Model Builder's Manual. That's really more of a how-to, not so much a. I should probably read this. Oh, so that's how you do scaffolding. Okay.
When's the new Godzilla movie coming out? -1 sequel, Max.
Is it November, I think?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know there was one.
Yeah, my Godzilla -0.
No, that there was a sequel coming out.
Yes.
No, Godzilla -1 was the one we all loved. Godzilla
Yeah.
minus, they're made a sequels taking place 2 years later. Go watch the trailer, Ken.
I didn't get the memo. Sorry.
It's just all over the internet.
Okay.
Man, there's some cool
I
kit
don't
bash
hang out in
ideas.
that neighborhood.
This book is all full of good kit bash ideas. But all I was getting at is just that there's just a ton of resources available to us today that you didn't used to be for coming up with wild ideas for airplanes. And sort of God, the Germans provide half of them. World War I German aircraft have got to be the absolute most insane paint schemes. Although some of the ships with their dazzle patterns are pretty wild too. So
How
Steve,
about Godzilla minus pi?
Godzilla pie. What would you put in a Godzilla pie?
Tim Chowchuk came up with that one.
So Steve,
Yes.
we've talked enough about airplanes and ships, but what are some of the wildest car paint schemes?
Mostly they're on race cars.
Which, by the way, beautifully, most of them have been modeled. So there's
And the issue is that the same car may have been painted 50 different ways.
I
by
bet they're
50
painted between every
different
race.
teams. Which hence is the success of Salvino's.
Make one car and 300 sets of decals.
That's it. The issue, race cars are easy because, there's plenty of documentation, there's plenty of photos, there's books, magazines, they're easy. It's when you get to like custom cars that it becomes difficult. Race cars are easy.
Yeah,
Like
which I mean, if you want to make something by Exner or something like that, that gets, but there's plenty of research material.
There is.
And
I mean, there's plenty of books. There's plenty of these cars in museums, all over the world. The internet's a phenomenal source. And, it gets back to what we've said before is that you go to a museum and you look at a car and then you go look at research material and, well, it's different. Because it might have changed hands and somebody didn't like the color and then they paint it, or it got lost.
Sorry,
Where
Steve.
he meets Max and teaches Max Godzilla to build model. There you go.
I'd pay to see that.
Well, there's actually a slide like that in the intros, which will be in the outro. Yeah, what would you say if you wanted to create a nightmare car for someone to? I'm not worried about the model, building model, just the paint. Like, oh, this will be a hard one to do.
It would definitely be a race car, and it'd probably be like a Le Mans Group C car because they have some really weird paint jobs with a lot of different colors.
Some of those paint jobs, I mean, I realize the kits come with decals, but some of them that have like the murals painted on them and everything, like the vans. If I wanted to tell somebody, oh, I'm going to give you a nightmare paint scheme, I would hand them a van and show them a photo of like a 70s customized van. Do they have one of the murals painted out? No decals. You got it. Which I would immediately take the photo and run off to a printer and start making decals. Right. But if you had to paint it, I'm like, because I got to admit, you got to remember, we all remember in the 70s, well, most of us remember in the 70s when the vans were the big deal. And what was he? He goes, the 3 fastest ways to have a guy not let you date his daughter. 1, One is a just pull up and hit the horn. Okay. You're going to come inside and meet dad. Two was to come inside and look grubby. And three was to pull up in a van.
Okay, I got some comments here I got to read.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, Steve Jarvis said, would Godzilla blame his errors on battle damage? Okay, JM says Godzilla minus glue. Max teaches Godzilla all about Godzilla.
The funny thing is obviously the most popular stuff is usually pretty easy to research. I built a lot of Battle Midway models. One of the nice things, the Navy during World War II was probably the most uniform service, the Marines also. Everybody pretty much had that paint scheme or the all blue paint scheme or the intermediate blue over. I mean, pretty much any Navy or Marine aircraft at a certain part in the war was painted about like this. And it's a relatively easy paint scheme to do. And the Navy did not, they actually frowned upon like nose art and stuff and everything. They kind of loosened up on that a little bit later. A few squadrons got some logos and stuff. But and when you're making a television show, like when they made Bob Black Sheep, it's really easy. Just paint all the airplanes dark blue, even though that's not the color. They would have been painted like that, not the dark blue, but it was just the way the Corsairs were painted. The show was on a budget. I mean, they had a lot of Korean War era Corsairs, the 20mm cannons and everything, 4-bladed props. They, like I said, used what they had. But still, that uniformity, even between squadrons, was fairly consistent. And normally, if you did have some kind of big squadron logos like white diamonds on the tail or white arrows, nothing too complex. You go to the Air Corps, the Air Force, their squadrons got pretty colorful even during the war. At least, the red tails and the guys with the big flashy checkerboard patterns on their thunderbolts and everything. And like, yeah, we want the Luftwaffe to know where we are. Come on, we're brooding for a fight. And good God. I would say the worst thing you can paint on an airplane, and I think in any curved surface, so this will go for a car as well, is a checkerboard pattern, a symmetrical checkerboard pattern.
Those are really hard to do.
And I see these guys with these, and when you use a decal, that's one thing. That's fine. And I am not by any, I mean, I'd use the decal if I had it. But I see guys that hand paint these Thunderbolts and Corsairs with checkerboard pattern. And maybe it's not so terrible around the flat side of the cowling, but they're going all the way around the, where it curves. And I'm like, how on earth are you doing that? I metal skinned a model airplane, a C-119. And I actually I was told, you can use aluminum foil. You don't have to buy the expensive foil. You can actually use aluminum foil. So I took the thinnest aluminum foil.
Oh, it came back. You were out of focus for a minute. It came back.
But I used the thinnest aluminum foil I could. I put the glue down and I burnished it down. And it actually kind of worked. The only problem is, I don't care what kind of glue you use, foil only sticks so well to plastic. So you got to be real careful because it will peel up. But I got one cowling done. And I was like, okay, that looks okay. But is it really that much better than just using metalizer, which you can spray on? Just like metalizers. I have yet to find a clear coat you can put on a metalizer that won't dampen the shine. No matter what you use, floor wax, clear coat, it's been my experience that metalizers are just left. And I know you can't really touch them because they never really stop rubbing off. But they look the brightest when they don't have a coating on them, unless I'm missing something. But
Francis just said something interesting. He said, in my first armor battalion, our vehicles were all supposed to be 3-color camo. We couldn't get the brown or the black paint, so most were forest green because that's what we had.
That's what you had.
Yes, Seaman Hornsby. Yes, Seaman Hornsby.
Pink, the primer's all we got on her, sir.
White and red are all we got. No gray.
If some airman came up, sir, all we have is white and red, I'm like, okay, I want that airplane solid red and a little white around the emblem. But the ghost of the Red Baron lives. What interior color to use on the early birdcage Corsairs? The only birdcage Corsair I know of, which is still being rebuilt, unless they finished it, everything I saw, it was zinc chromate. It was that green chromate inside. Most it's funny, most restored military aircraft I've been in, they try to restore in like new condition, they have a zinc chromate interior. All right. But you see other pictures, some of them in color and some of them there's other colors. It might be wear and tear, but I don't think anybody painted the inside of them. And I've had some guys tell me that actually, I don't know if they zinc chromated them at the factory or not. I've had guys who picked up airplanes and they picked up a B-24 at the factory. He goes, nah, the zinc chromate, it was just bare metal. We did all that when we got it to the squadron. I don't know. There probably wasn't a uniform. It depends on what the contract said. My dad was an airplane mechanic, so I grew up with zinc chromate, and stuff. And I'd seen a lot of airplanes that had pretty naked aluminum interiors in them. So it's
Jam Childcheck says, and Max, you would have the
Yippee P30, the big red one. There you go. And so I think it was like the 5,000th one or 7,000 one. They put Yippee and big, made it red and put Yippee in big letters. I'd fly into combat that way. Come and get me.
Never saw that one.
Oh yeah, Yippee. Oh yeah, it was. They had in all the papers and everything. Yeah. The pilot could do commercials for Green Apple cigarettes. By the way, side tangent. They're making a movie, a sequel to Once Upon a Time in California, or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but it's just about Cliff. Okay,
the Adventures of Cliff Booth.
The Adventures of Cliff Booth, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. Apparently, he's become a Hollywood fixer, and the rumors that they're going to go kind of dark side, get into it. And I'm like, well, anyway. So was it Green Apple cigarettes? That was it, wasn't it? That he was green, but.
Oh, interesting. Scale Model says, I always chuckle when modelers will paint the floor of a P-51 aluminum when it was wood.
There you go. Oh, one of the Blue Troopers just sent me a picture of an old 30s or 40s vintage model he found, a wooden one at a thing. And it was just this generic box, an airplane, a tiny little corner is a pencil drawing in there. And it says, this is the model, this is the airplane the model is of. It was a little, okay. Yeah, oh yeah, he's talking about, Fran's talking about Petty Blue came about because Petty didn't have enough paint, so he just mixed up what he had. And hey, this is how great with Dean Hess, the fan who wrote the book Battle Hymn about flying P-51s in Korea and in World War II in Korea. He was the preacher, that became a fighter pilot. And he talked about how he went to join the Marine Corps, and on his way down, he saw the Air Force. They both wear uniforms and fly. Same thing, right? And that's how he ended up in the Air Force. He goes, this is how great decisions are made. Reminds me of that episode of The Simpsons where Arnold's the governor and Springfield has to quarantine it. They got 5 options. He goes, I am a decider. Without reading any of them, he just puts his finger on one. I like when builders chip wood. That's a nice touch.
Trace says he likes it when builders chip wood propellers. Yeah. What about the aluminums and the steel one we will see on real airplanes that had nicks in the leading edges?
Absolutely. In fact, I've seen and actually flown airplanes that had them on both blades because if it gets enough after the mechanics, tell you what, but after a certain size, they have to grind out a mirror image on the other prop to keep it in balance. Same happens with rotor blades. One of the helicopter pilots was telling me the rotor blades are so well balanced that when they going to check them, they sometimes do fine-tune balancing with spray paint. Just use yellow spray paint on the blade tip until it balances. I mean, it gets that. Those National Guard guys, we went to a National Guard unit, their helicopters were old. They were old, like B models, C models, okay, with the one window door. I didn't even know any of those were still in the Army. He goes, yeah, the Guard units still have some of the old ones. I had no idea that M models and C models are still around. And they look brand new. I mean, they looked unused. I was like, they're National Guard. They don't fly that much, and the guys are there all the time just tinkering on them, And I was like, I hope when you retire this thing, you just roll it over to the local museum because it was just beautiful. I've never seen a helicopter that old in that good a condition. Those guys took some real pride. And these guys are like 55 years old and they're staff sergeants because they're in the Guard, which promotes very notoriously slowly. And this is just what they do on their weekends. They love this stuff. Nicest bunch of guys.
Trace says, yep, spray balanced a lot of blades, but it wears off over time.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
And you do that in radio controlled helicopters too. You just put a little extra paint on one to try and balance the blades out because it's so specific.
Mm-hmm. Okay, how many people have ruined a model because there was one little blemish and you kept trying to just add a little spray paint to fix it, and then something eventually. Dude, sometimes I look at a blemish and go, nope, staying. I know how this goes.
Yep.
Or you're sitting there and you see a piece of dust go to wet paint.
Yeah. And it's not just with models either.
The little DR1, I originally put the skinny crosses on it, and one of them broke, and I was trying to slide the other one, and it wouldn't move. And I realized the paint felt dry to the touch, but it had just enough moisture left in it. When the decal hit it, it just soaked in. It wasn't going anywhere. So I had to scratch it off, repaint it, and put the other decal on. You know, just because of that F-117 that the spray can went bananas on me, stuck, and I wound up putting a super heavy coat on it. I went out today after being like 18 hours baking in the Tarbis. I went in, touched it, fingerprint. I was like, get the fingerprint out. You know, I'm gonna just check it again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day. That thing's gonna take 3 days to harden.
Someday it will dry.
And I'm like, yeah, but I was like, this thing won't undo. Where am I going to put? You know, I don't dare turn it around and take it out of the paint booth. And that thing's so big it fills the paint booth. I'm just going to keep laying coats on it till I get the top unstuck. Oh, the glue troopers could see me now.
At least on armor, you can hide the blemish with snow or mud. That's what
It's stowage, baby. That's why I never throw away rucksacks and kits and things, because you never know, you have to glue them all or extra. The honey, that little piece of track that I put together, because it comes with the rubber band track or the vinyl track and the link tracks, and I put like 4 links together, and you got to put the end caps on them when you're done. I'm like, ah, screw this, right? I put like 4 of them together. I saved them so that when I was done with that model, if it had a blemish on it, that's where that was going to cover it up. Turned out I didn't really have any blemishes on it, so I just glued it on the front armor.
I knew a modeler that built buildings for model railroading, and whenever he had a mistake, he'd just put a seagull on it. I don't know if it really held the blemish, but I guess it took the attention away.
I was going to say, extract the eye away. And,
Yeah.
Okay, I almost said something, but I'm just not going to.
The mirror crazy says, not so radar absorbent F-117.
It's not radar absorbent, but it is absorbent. It absorbs paint.
Oh, KOSC says, Max, you ought to tell them the hairspray story I commented to you.
Okay. Bill told me someone in his sphere of influence, lady was doing her hairspray and the thing stuck. She didn't know what to do with it. So she just put it in the toilet and let it till it ran dry. And she slammed the lid. Well, without flushing it, of course, the gas just stayed there. Her husband plops down to take a poop, lights a smoke, throws a cigarette, the apparently still burning match in there. Talk about explosive diarrhea. Apparently, he did get a rectal injury. They had to call an ambulance. Oh, we're not done yet. They had to call an ambulance. The ambulance crew tried to be professional when they saw what had happened and blew the toilet apart. And apparently, you know, it blew his butt over his head. So they had him. They had him on the dolly, you know, on the stretcher, and they were all laughing so hard that they dropped him going out of the house, and he broke his wrist.
That guy was having a bad
That's the definition of a bad. That's a bad hairspray day.
Wild Dad, no, that wasn't me that was building the models with the seagulls. It was somebody else. There's no way I could come even close to the quality that guy was doing.
Well, guys, I think we're officially past the live stream now. We are just talking about stuff now. For those of you who are still here, if you're certainly welcome to, so we chat for a few minutes about whatever you guys want to chat about. But for the but I want to thank everybody who did come out for coming out. So, guys, what do we got? Ken, chance for you to talk about your sailboat. Anything new?
Yeah, I took the salon table off, brought it home. My friend Ricky and I are going to refinish it.
The salon table.
The salon table. Well, you can also say saloon, but nobody likes saying that word, so we just say salon.
I think salon only has one O. Saloon has two, doesn't it?
That's correct.
Okay.
But a lot of people call it the saloon. I don't know what the significance of that is.
One serves whiskey, one serves wine.
That maybe.
I just made it up. It sounds good. Heck, run with it.
One's in
Also, I also reran the reefing lines so that they're now correct. I had to put the sail up to get
Ken, I never figured you for a reefer guy.
Sometimes you just make me wonder.
Well, I'm glad to know
Sometimes.
I may be losing it, but I'm not losing it.
Yeah. Well, when I first got the sail, I didn't rig it up correctly, and I've never been able to do it because I was never able to get out there when there was no wind. Today there was no wind, so I went out there, damn near killed myself. I had 156 beats per minute on my watch for my heart rate.
What, you shimmied up the mast?
No, I didn't go up the mast.
Oh.
But I had to raise the sail to get to the reefing lines so that I could rerun them.
Oh, so you raised the sail at dock, which is what scared you. Because one gust of wind and there's problems.
No, it didn't scare me. I was just so hot.
Oh.
And it's so hard work getting to it that I just overdid it a little bit.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, Christ, for those who don't know, down here in Florida, we've been having, 95-degree days pretty routinely now. So, I mean, it's Florida. That's kind of what we do. It's our jam. But
yeah, it was pretty warm out there, but I got it done. I got to put back, and I also adjusted the sail bag so that it sits better on the boom.
Well, Ken, I'll tell you what I used to tell all my crew: don't get killed. Your required equipment for dispatch.
Yeah, kind of need me.
So, guys, a reminder, we're going up to RetroCon. The three of us are going to go up haunt Dan up there. And,
4 of us.
I'm sorry, Fran. I forgot. Fran's going with it. Good God.
Yep, Fran's going too. Yep.
But, yeah. So it'll be raid on Philadelphia. And,
so if we don't get arrested.
If any guys are up there in the Northeast, check out RetroCon. It's only like $20 a head to get in for the day. So, and we already got our plane tickets. We're all going to aviate.
That's right. It's gonna be fun. And then after we're done at the modeling convention, we're going up to Steamtown.
You know, if my wife would let me with 3 of us, I would say just give me the money and we'll rent a plane. But
there we go.
Yeah, Ken, because all of us want to spend 5 hours shoved on 172. Yeah.
I don't know. Could be a lot of fun up front.
Yeah, Ken. There's nothing better than being a Cessna 172 at 6,000 or 7,000 feet. You know, everybody just wedged in their elbow tight, and all of a sudden, I gotta pee.
That's what the cups are for.
I can't go with you guys watching.
Guys in Philadelphia.
Plus, this is not happening sitting in that seat, and there's no way to get out of it. I was in one by myself one time, and I figured out a way to do it, and it did not go well. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Well, for entertainment, we could do zero-G maneuvers every once in a while. Watch Steve's eyes get real big.
Remember, you're meeting me.
He's driving, remember?
I'm not flying with you.
But, I don't know. Call Mike, see if the Baron's available. We'll be up there in 2.5 hours.
Okay, so JM says, so bring big red jugs, Max. You know, the red jugs.
The jug isn't the problem. It's the physical getting everything into position to operate. And
Caswayne says, then we can find out if Max can barrel roll a 172.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Easy. Barely an inconvenience.
JM says, you do not want to barrel roll a 172.
Oh, hey, hold on. The IPMS Nationals in 2027 will be in Huntsville. Oh, no. Well, I'm just thinking. Yeah, Huntsville. Yeah. Or we're going to find, we're going to find half the people who are at IPMS at the Manned Space Flight Center taking the tours. I haven't gone on that. I was at Mesa last time I did that. So I absolutely.
I went to space camp with my son.
Well, we always knew you were a space cadet.
Well, I got the wings.
There you go.
Was it fun? Did you enjoy it,
It
Steve?
was a blast. It
Oh, it's
really
cool.
was. It was really great.
I always wanted to do that. I always thought that'd be really fun.
It was
Well,
really
Ken, okay, all right. Let's just start making plans now. All right. Road trip, Huntsville, IPMS 2027. And I wanted to go to Fort Wayne, but we just too much going on here. And that's a bit of a hike for you. You probably have to fly down unless you want to drive, but still, that's actually about 6 hours. That's still 5-6 hours for me, but still, no, it's
Okay, well, I gotta say
Yeah,
something.
that's-
here. Wild Dad says, "Gee, Ken takes one simulator course and now he thinks he can fly." I can fly. I do have a pilot's license.
Ken does have a pilot. In fact, if Ken and I were to get our medicals renewed, we could. And you need to get a BFR. Actually, I'm getting close to needing one too. Come up on the 2-year mark. Biennial flight review. Then we would be perfectly legal to go rent an airplane and.
Yeah, we did.
We could.
Can you do it?
We could do it.
Or we just call Mike and see if he still got the Baron.
Trey says, "Count me in for Huntsville."
Yes, Fran. No pressure, Fran. You know.
Fran's off. He's already signed off for the night.
We'll lean on him later. We got a year. You
We
know
get
he'll
him in the
go.
car.
You know he's
Yeah.
going to go.
We'll browbeat him for hours on the way to Scranton.
You know what we ought to do? Trey's got the truck. We ought to trailer the Jeep. Fran's World War II Jeep up there.
Oh no!
Oh, Ken
And
still
put
having
it
bad
in as a-
memories when I had to push mine.
We ought to trailer it up there and put it in the display. As
That's
a-
what I'm.
as a
Yeah, that's
build.
what I'm saying. You
As a
know.
build. I built this one-on-one Jeep.
Well, he actually kind of did. Fran, guys, if you guys haven't seen it, Trey's got the coolest vintage pickup truck.
It's Tom Fox says, "Ken is a pilot." They normally say that in the first 5 minutes.
By the way, if Trey, if next time we're down there, I want to go over riding the truck. Hopefully now, next.
Hold it.
what-
I got to answer this one. The Mer Crazy says, "Try flying gliders, Ken." Max, probably not.
I actually flown sailplanes because I used to tow gliders.
He's also flown the planes pulling.
Well, that's
the
why I had to do 3 flights in a sailplane and a glider to tow them. And I had to learn to box the wake and all that good stuff. And yes, guys, on the off chance anyone wants to learn to fly, I'm going to offer you a free piece of advice that will make you a better fixed wing pilot. And that is learn to fly sailplanes first, because it's all about touch, feel, coordination. You get the very basics down. And there's a lot more to it than it seems like. You can actually get yourself in trouble in a sailplane a whole lot faster, because you wind up someplace you're not supposed to be. You don't have an engine to get back to the airport. But you really learn the basics. Go get your private ticket in a sailplane thing. Go to a powered aircraft. This is not a cheap thing to do. Remember, sailplanes are expensive because you got to pay for a powered plane, the tow plane, as well as a sailplane, and sailplanes are expensive to rent. But if you or just go for a ride in one, and when you slow them up and they get quiet, it's beautiful. It's the next best thing to like a hot air balloon or
and the visibility is incredible.
yeah. Now hot air balloons are noisy when the burner's going, but when it's off, they're beautiful. And there's no wind because you're moving with the wind, so you can lay your handkerchief on the side of the gondola and it doesn't go anywhere because you're going with the wind. I really enjoyed flying sailplanes, but
Max and I used to fly together quite a bit.
and it's we had a lot of fun. Of course, we had our share of adventures. Remember that one? Were you with me going to Atlantic City when the front cargo door blew open? On
No, I
Cherokee
wasn't
6?
there,
Oh, okay.
but I was there for the when the gust hit us right after takeoff in Atlantic City.
Yeah,
You remember that one?
been hit by
Stands
Gus so many times, but yeah, Wallow walloped is pretty good.
Now as the hookers driving by the airport. So SP Boxcar says, before the IPMS convention, I did some research. From my Texas home, Hurricane Hobbies is closer than Fort Wayne, Indiana.
And on September 5th, we're having the we're scheduled to have the live stream at Hurricane Hobbies. Hopefully, Fran, Trey, Marty, and Ken can all be there. So we'll probably have Steve zoomed in so that while we're all screwing around, he can run the show. So there'll be at least one adult in the room.
That'll be a problem, but okay.
I should say there'll be at least one adult on the screen.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of pushing it, Max.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we have any particular learn to fly a sailplane as your solution to population control.
No, I didn't do a roll in the simulator. Although I did ask the instructor if I could squish the guy who was directing us to the gate. He said,
Yes, that's is verboten. He's a union guy. Well, guys, that's it. It's going on 9 p.m. So you guys stay online. I got to talk to you about some stuff. So Glue Troopers, I want to thank everybody for coming out. I'm super thrilled we had the unexpected pleasure of Dan with us, Dan Monroe. Go check, as we're done here, I'm going to check out his latest video, which is on Mighty Joe Young, and which gave me the idea to wonder about why they never made a kid of it. So guys, we'll say our adioses, and then I'll let everybody go.
Well, guys, thanks a lot again for coming in and spending some time with us. We hope you enjoyed it. And we're going to do the same thing next week. So tune in next week, same time, same channel.
thanks for coming. For those of you who don't know, Max made a really nice video of our trip in the sim. If y'all are curious about what happened, I found it fascinating. I had an absolute blast, and I got to share it with Max, which was really great. You guys should have seen Max over there working. He knew where all the switches were, turning on lights and asking if things were pretty.
Yeah.
You should go see the video. It's really good.
It's a hoot. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. Take care. We'll see you next week. And as always, model on. Well, at least it got an even coat. Let it harden overnight. It's still, you can leave a fingerprint in it. That stuff's on so thick. It's going to take a couple of days for that to harden.
Got a little box sitting on my table, pieces everywhere, but I'm feeling able. Glue on my fingers, paint on my hands, turning tiny parts into something grand. One piece at a time, I make it come alive with a little imagination. I can make it fly. I'm building my life away, one model at a time each day. Wings and wheels, engines and clay. I'm building my life away. It might take hours, it might take days, but I wouldn't have it any other way. With every little piece I lay, I'm building my life away. Cut the plastic, sand it down, paint that cockpit, make it sound. Decals straighten, landing gear tight. Step back and see it looking just right. Sometimes things break, sometimes things go wrong, but I fix them up and keep moving along. I'm building my life away, one model at a time each day. Planes on the shelf and dreams on display. I'm building my life away. It might take hours, it might take days, but I wouldn't have it any other way. With every little piece I lay, I'm building my life away. From a box of parts to a work of art, every little model has a piece of my heart. When the world gets loud, I know where to stay. From tiny wings to skies of gray, I'm building my life away. Glue, paper, plastic, come what may. There's always something new to make today. So let the engines roar and play. I'm building my life away. One more kit, one more day. At my workbench, I'll build away.